for my friends here is development of how one represents one's true self to the outside world. And it's not that I care so much as what the outside world thinks, is that I care about what you think about the outside world. You really with me on that? No? I don't really care so much when you represent yourself to the outside world, what their value judgment is on who you are. I care that it's authentic. What they think about it, as you well know, that's up to them. If you're true, and you're honest and you're comfortable with it, and people are having issues with it, talk to them about it. But if you're just going whichever way, we'll get to it later, to please the crowd, that's not so good. The journey has two key components. It has a compass, where you're going to go, and a gyroscope to keep you in balance. Knowing where you want to go and getting there is okay. Getting there in balance, getting to where you want to go in a healthy way is another key dimension. You all right? And when you are on this path of the authentic traveler, you accept the process of self-awareness, self-trust. You focus on the principles that matter to you. You discover what motivates you. And you act with passion. Passion is a word that I did not know until I met my muse. Thought I knew it. Passion is critical. Act with it. Be it. Passion's a good thing. Across who you are as a person. Not just in bed. There's also a need for a spiritual dimension. I cannot underscore this enough. Help me walk through this with you. If we are walking along a path and we're going somewhere, and we look back from where we came from, and we're walking here, and we want to keep ourselves planted on earth, sometimes you got to look up. Sometimes you need another kinetic force to hold you down. That concept is spirituality. It's the understanding that spirituality is non-denominational. And spirituality and religion are not the same thing. They can be very independent of each other. Religion is handed down through the archetypes in the family system you're raised in, and it's an organized set of beliefs in theism in the way we worship God, or gods. Spirituality is independent of God, independent of religion. It's merely how you look for meaning in life and the values that you take. That's all it is. It's a concept of spirituality. Spirituality also brings in a dimension of faith. I want to talk to you about faith. But we're good. I want to talk to you about faith for a minute. Many years ago, my daughter and I were riding in a car together. And out of nowhere, my daughter said to me, some of you know this story, out of nowhere my daughter said to me, "Ron, where does man come from?" This was a pivotal moment in my life with my daughter. And Jody made me promise that I had to raise her as a Jewish child. So I went to the Old Testament. And I'm making a long story short, and I explained to her about Adam and Eve, and that Eve was formed out of the rib, and all the whole 9 yards. And she looked at me at the ripe old age, how old was she, 7, 8? 7. And she said, "Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense, but if Adam and Eve were the first two people, and we're all children of Adam and Eve, how come you don't have the same last name?" Okay. So I then explained to her about that, and then she said, "Well, wait a second. If we're Adam and Eve and we all married together, there's a problem with that. I thought that if you're brother and sister and cousins, you can't marry each other." Ooh, okay. Had to find another means of explaining it to her. I tried Darwinian evolution. That didn't work. I then turned to her, and she didn't know what was funny. That we come from apes or that Adam and Eve. She didn't know which was funny. And she turned to me and said, you mean no one knows? And I said, right, no one knows. And you've just had your first lesson in faith. Because you need to believe in something. And I will quote, she then turned to me and said, I think I like this idea of faith. It covers a lot of things. It's a true story. And I didn't embellish it at all, did I?
No, not this time.
Okay. She'd be embarrassed as hell if she was here, but I didn't embellish it at all. As a researcher, I have to share this with you if you don't believe me. Japanese did a research of 2,700 people and investigated the relationship between authenticity and spirituality and found a significantly high correlation between these two dimensions. Simplistically, a healthy spirituality contributes to psychological growth and general health. The significance factor was off the scale. Arriving at authenticity and self-trust is a critical milepost in the journey of self-intimacy. And the first step is to create new meanings to yourself. Does anybody have an idea what I mean by that? Creating new meanings? Talk to me. Would you raise your hand? No, I'm sorry. At an auction you just bought the Picasso. Give me the money. What?
Do you mean your self-definition?
Yeah. It's your self-definition, it's your lexicon, it's a much clearer understanding for yourself of who you are, what you want, and where you want to go. You establish a new way to think about reality in the absence of the 1960s cannabis and LSD and hash and all of that stuff. Or, nowadays, really good tequila or vodka and everything else. You develop a new lexicon and new beliefs, such as trust instead of disbelief, accountable instead of irresponsible, and forgiveness instead of blame. These are new words for some people. And when you learn to translate this into your world, and you begin to create and importantly own your maps. The concept of owning a map and the concept of owning and taking responsibility for yourself is an issue that crosses generations. It's an issue that we all bitch about our kids because they say it's not my fault. And they defer responsibility. And it's an issue that happens in marriages. And it's an issue that happens within us. I am citing, this is the work of Robert. It's called Internal versus External Locus of Control. This is not very complex. We have seen it in our lives frequently. Watch. External locus of control. How do I look? Do you like the way I look? Am I dressed okay? Everything all right? Everything tucked in? If you don't like it, I'll change. No, tell me you like it. Tell me you like it. Please tell me you like it. Please tell me you really, really like it, because if you don't, I change. Do you like the way I look in this dress? Here's the classic one. How many of you have been to a restaurant and have heard the following? So, what are you ordering? Oh, okay. What are you ordering? Oh, I don't like that. No. What, and the person will take an inventory about what everybody's about to order on the menu before they decide what they're going to order. External locus of control. They will determine what they order predicated on what everybody else is ordering. When I was up for partnership at this firm and I became a partner, they sent us to this executive training stuff so that all the partners were functioning together. And the trainer said to us, and I love it and it drives Jody crazy, go to a diner where they have 400 things on a menu, and in 60 seconds, decide what you want for lunch, order it, and don't change your mind. Decide, act, don't change. Drives people crazy. Aren't you looking at me? No, this is what I want. You sure? I'm ordering this. No, I'm sure. This is what I want. External locus of control is also the person that says it's the universe's fault that stuff happens. It's my wife's fault. It's my kid's fault. It's my boss's fault. External locus of control. Internal locus of control is someone who takes responsibility and owns it. Either one of these to an extreme is not healthy. This leads to ulcers and madness this leads to apathy and indifference. But within those extremes, we manifest it. It is much healthier to try to control those things which we can impact. It's not uninteresting that this is also one of the prayers that they say in self-help groups. But I didn't take it from there, but it parallels it. For a realistic and healthy internal locus of control,